I actually came to Durham College about 17 years ago, and that's following I don't know, 35-year career in the animation industry. Um, in that time, I worked on a bunch of shows, everything from the Flintstones, Scooby Doo, Sticking Around, Inspector Gadget, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember how many shows. I like to teach in a very sort of entertaining fashion. I mean, I spent 35 years, in sort of the broadcast, theatrical, commercial animation business. So you're pitching and you're collaborating, and it's very, very open. Not to mention that I spent a good part of my earlier years in theater and in rock bands. Yikes! So being in front of people and entertaining was very much a comfort zone for me. So, having done that and having had those experiences, um, to come into a room full of kids and full of students, it's an audience. So it's a chance to engage them by entertaining them, by working on an emotional level, how to make them laugh, how to get them and get not for them never to know exactly what's going to happen next. Like if I see a class starting to get tired or distracted or something, I'll simply go switch off the lights, then turn them on again and say good morning, just like so they never know what's coming. And of course tell them stories from over the years of how certain techniques worked, and always sort of bring them back into here you are now, and you're doing this now, and this is what was done then. This is and you're part of this great world. And it's kind of shake them loose, or shake them into that sense of entertainment storytelling, to keep them engaged in learning, is to remind them why they're there. I notice this especially as we get into second year, and they have now had a good dose of specific, exercises, technical exercises, crushing deadlines, ridiculous schedules, and they've lost track of why they're there. And I remind them, look, you came here because you love cartoons, because you love this art form, because you really believed in it. You know what happens when you turn your music on in your earbuds, and that movie comes on in your head, and I want to make those, and you watch those Netflix specials, and you go, I want to do that. Say, well, here you are, because if I put your work up on the screen, I say you made that. You get distracted by these small bits of assignments and sort of school and all of that, and you forget you're learning to be a filmmaker, you're learning to be an animator, and you are doing that. So that's the biggest one, is to keep them excited about their own accomplishments and why they are there. Collaboration is big. So we do a lot of problem solving together, and that's creative problem solving. That could be technical problem solving. There are three streams to learning animation. This is intense technical. There's a, clearly a creative stream, and there's the storytelling stream. There's a lot, or filmmaking. There's a lot of sort of pieces to the puzzle that all come at you at once. And so we never know when something's going to be challenging, because, one week we'll focus on technical, one week we'll focus on story-based stuff. And so by sort of talking those things through together, and especially looking at the screen and saying, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about what you put on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect you from what I see on the screen, and here's what I'm having issues with. Anybody else having problems with, or issues with something I see on the screen? So remove that from the person and talk about the screen performance. And I remind them that, say, for example, when we were working on Inspector Gadget, we used to come up with gadgets just to solve problems in the script. It'd be 3 o'clock in the morning, you'd be sitting around the storyboard going, I don't know how he's going to get out of this. I know he pulls his finger off and he says, there's a key there. Okay, great. Let's get approval on that and let's go. I'm tired. And so they know tired. So they also know that there are always solutions and there's always ways to do it. And the quickest ones often come from just sitting around together and talking it through. It's interesting how technology has worked its way into every part of the class and training, especially for the last 2 years of lockdown. I have to say that lockdown gave us a couple of the most productive years I've ever seen in the animation course, at least in my classes. They were the content excellence was right off the charts. Never seen anything like it. And the reason for that was we removed a lot of things. The 2 and 3 hour commutes, the tight lab times, the availability of software, et cetera. And so they could stay home and work at their own speed. And it was, it did have a distinct and very apparent effect on their work. Everything I do is on DC Connect, probably the most powerful tool that I can get my hands on, except for getting video through it. That's the only issue with it. The organization, the access, and availability of DC Connect has been the foundation of what we do. One thing that I live by when I teach is that my main sort of mandate with my students is I need them to have time to get it right. So I'm terrible at this. I don't stick to deadlines. I let them try again until they've got it. They're not learning the thing that they need to learn if all they're trying to do is achieve deadlines. Then all they're doing is learning how to hit a deadline. All they're learning is how to do an assignment. They're going to be really shocked when they get involved in a production, for example, in animation, when what they're expected to do is much smaller, in fact, than what they get as a student. Because as a student, they have to do the whole thing. They have to do the setup, the planning, this, to that. That's never going to happen. I know. I worked there for 40 years, 35 years. The numbers are getting longer. So, I know that. So I'm not going to set them up with false, pressure but when they see the success happening, when they see that they finally get it, even if other people get it right away and they don't quite get it, and within 2 weeks they get it, then they really can move on with meaning, and they really can sort of make serious progress. And I know that, okay, now um, uh, the real heart of what it is that's going to help you in the future.